Morality does not stop ruthless people. It protects them. Every rule you follow becomes a weapon in someone else's hand. Every line you refuse to cross teaches predators exactly how to control you. This truth is never taught, because once you see it, you can't be managed the same way again. Here is the law they don't say out loud. Morality is not a shield. It is a leash. And the ruthless learn to pull it. Power does not reward goodness. Power rewards those who understand how goodness works on others. Moral people need to feel clean. Ruthless people need results. When those two meet, one always wins. Most people believe morality creates trust. It doesn't. It creates predictability. And predictability is easy to exploit. Humans are wired to outsource responsibility. We want rules so we don't have to think. We want moral systems so we don't have to choose. When someone follows the rules too closely, they become safe. When they become safe, they become controllable. The ruthless understand something simple. People who fear being bad fear confrontation more than injustice. They fear judgment more than loss. They fear breaking the rules more than being broken by them. That fear is leverage. A moral person hesitates. They explain themselves. They overcorrect. They seek fairness even when fairness costs them position. The ruthless wait for this moment. Then they move. This is why guilt is such a powerful tool. Guilt makes people self-police. You don't need to threaten them. They punish themselves for you. The ego wants to believe it is good. So when challenged, it folds. When accused, it softens. When pushed, it rationalizes surrender as virtue. Ruthless people don't argue morality. They borrow it. They speak in ethical language while acting without it. They use rules as camouflage. They let moral people enforce limits on themselves. This is not about being evil. It's about understanding how the game is actually played. Look at the modern workplace. The most ethical employee is rarely the most powerful. They volunteer more. They complain less. They tolerate disrespect longer. They believe fairness will be noticed. It isn't. Office politics reward ambiguity. The ruthless manager praises teamwork, then takes credit. They talk about values, then make exceptions for themselves. When conflict arises, they position themselves as reasonable, while letting moral people look emotional or difficult. The moral employee documents. Explains. Tries to be fair. The ruthless employee stays vague, strategic, and calm. Guess who gets promoted? In relationships, morality is even more dangerous. The person who values honesty too much reveals too early. They forgive too quickly. They explain their boundaries instead of enforcing them. They think being good will inspire goodness. It inspires testing. The ruthless partner watches reactions. They push slightly. Then retreat. They apologize just enough to reset the game. They rely on the other person's desire to be understanding. Understanding becomes tolerance. Tolerance becomes permission. In dating, the person who feels guilty for wanting power loses attraction. The one who stays composed, slightly distant, and unburdened by moral anxiety holds control. Not because they are cruel, but because they are not negotiating with their conscience every second. Social status works the same way. The person who insists on fairness gets sidelined. The person who understands hierarchy moves quietly upward. They don't challenge the system openly. They don't preach. They don't moralize. They let others expose themselves. In business, morality is used as branding. The ruthless company sells ethics while cutting costs where it matters. The moral competitor plays clean and wonders why they lose market share. One understands perception. The other believes intention matters. It doesn't. Weak people make predictable mistakes. They confuse being liked with being respected. They think consistency proves character. They announce their principles publicly, locking themselves into positions that can be exploited. They also over-explain. They defend. They seek closure. They think clarity equals strength. It doesn't. Clarity equals exposure. Powerful people let others reveal their morals first. Then they adjust. Weak people rush to prove they are good. Power waits to see who needs that belief. Another mistake is moral outrage. Getting emotional signals loss of control. It tells everyone where your limits are. The ruthless never show you theirs. Weak people also try to save others. They intervene. They mediate. They take responsibility for conflicts that aren't theirs. This makes them useful, not powerful. Power never volunteers. It positions. Silent power looks boring from the outside. It doesn't argue values. It doesn't seek moral approval. It lets others play hero while it controls outcomes. One pattern is selective morality. Not abandoning ethics, but choosing when they are visible. Powerful people are moral in public and flexible in private. They understand that rules are for display, not limitation. Another pattern is emotional neutrality. When accusations come, they don't rush to clear their name. They let silence create doubt. Moral people panic in silence. Power thrives in it. A third pattern is indirect dominance. They never force. They remove options. They don't say no. They delay. They redirect. They let people arrive at conclusions that serve power. This feels subtle because it is. Overt control creates resistance. Invisible control creates obedience. Here is the danger. Once you understand this law, you can become what you hate. You can justify anything by calling it strategy. You can hollow yourself out and still win. That is the cost. The law is not telling you to be ruthless. It is telling you that ruthlessness already exists. And morality, when unconscious, feeds it. If you remain moral, do it with awareness. Not fear. Not guilt. Not naivety. Because the world does not reward goodness. It rewards those who understand what goodness costs.